Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. And in this video, I want to show you the Luffy deck that I use for the Singapore Asia Championship. Now, this is just my list. You can change it to how you like it. You can change it to the preferences, but I made this deck specifically to counter two decks that I was expecting. Number one was Zoro, because I was expecting to see a lot of Zoro because there was a very popular deck in the current OP-02 format, but also Whitebeard, who has kind of risen in popularity over the past few weeks. Even though I only met Whitebeard in my kind of playthrough and didn't meet any Zoros at all, it was still very heavily featured in the tournament itself. So, you know, maybe it was just my bad luck, maybe it was their good luck. We're just gonna go through the deck. I want to talk about specific choices, and if you are in the English OP-01 metagame right now, this will be a kind of good way to transition into the red-based decks in OP-02, because I'm going to talk about specific staples in the OP-02 format. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribing if you want to keep up to date with more One Piece card game content. Without further ado, let's take a look at my Luffy deck that I used during the Singapore Asia Championship event. So firstly, the reason why I chose Luffy is, number one, he is one of my favorite leaders to play. It's been the guy that I was rocking with since like day one, and I wanted to use a leader that I felt comfortable with using. And for the later games, Dawn efficiency was one that I wanted to kind of prioritize, so I went with Luffy instead of Zoro. He's my guy, I gotta do that. And for the Dawn of choice, because I feel like not a lot of people talk about it, you gotta rock the OP-01 Luffy Dawns right there. I do have the Shanks set, but I really like the Luffy Dawn, so we're gonna put them over there, and we'll go into our first four cards. So we do have none other than Tony Chopper. I think this is a necessary staple blocker. The reason why I included it this time in this deck was because I was expecting a lot of Whitebeard, and you kind of want to just outlast Whitebeard. They are going to whittle down in life either way, so you just want to hold off some of the attacks and make them waste a turn or two so that they have to take life from the Whitebeard's ability. Chopper is just really good at just blocking early aggressors, but now with the emergence of Vista, you do have to be careful, because Vista can just destroy this and make your blockers useless. So block when you can, block early. You know, if you have the option to counter or block, just block. That's kind of my take on it. Counter wisely. If your opponent is not playing red, then you can kind of counter and block specifically. But for facing red decks, I just figure like it's gonna get destroyed anyway, might as well block with it. The next four cards are none other than the staple Searcher, Nami. This is just getting your choppers, getting your late game cards such as Luffy, as well as Jet Pistols, because this deck is prioritizing a lot of removal, and Jet Pistol is definitely one of the cards that I want to look for with this, especially with Nico Robin as well. So Nami, definitely a staple that you should have. Our next four cards, or next six cards, actually really work well together. So we're going to open up with four Otamas. I can't leave home without good old Otama. Right now, the good combo to deal with opposing Nico Robins, because Nico Robins are 4000 power, is that you reduce their power by 2000, making it 2000 power Nico Robin, and then you play a Vista to get rid of it. So ultimately, that's what I want to get ahead, because Nico Robins will kind of destroy some of the smaller things in my deck, and that's what I want to kind of prioritize in removing. But other than that, the big threat, Whitebeard himself, you can reduce not only with Otama but with Gordon. I only put 2 copies of Gordon because it is a kind of flex slot. This is a very niche removal kind of like reducing power type card, and I do have 2 more in the deck, but with this you can reduce something by 3000 using Gordon's ability, and you can reduce something by 2000 using Otama's ability, reducing essentially a Whitebeard from a 10k to a 5k attack, which you can just pop with Jet Pistol. So it's a little bit of a long-winded way. You can do it against you know, opposing Odin decks as well if you want to reduce this for by 3000, or with Otama and then popping it with a Jet Pistol. So those bigger threats are what I wanted to get rid of. That's why I prioritize having Otama and Gordon. Next, we have 4 copies of our good old Makino, plus 2000 counter. That's kind of like the reason why she's in here, but she can single-handedly turn your Namis into great attacking opportunities, because you rest Makino, you give a 1 cost character plus 3000 power, making Nami a 5k attacker, and you can pump it up with multiples Makinos to make her a really big that your opponent has to kind of deal with the attack itself. Makino is one that your opponent would want to prioritize removing, so you can kind of play her out and, you know, use Makino, use Nami to attack, and then your opponent has to attack it to either the Nami or the Makino, so it takes some heat off your leader, and then you can just get the tempo back by playing some of your other bigger threats. Now these are all our 1-cost cards, and of course you can have a new 1-cost cards without the absolute beast of a searcher, Curly Dadan herself. Curly Dadan is a 1-cost card searcher, same effect as Nami, but it only searches 1-cost cards from the top 5 cards of your deck. So you use this to search whatever was in this pile of 1-cost cards for whatever situation that you need. I usually find myself prioritizing taking Namis to kind of continue searching, getting more cards in my hand, but if I am going for removal play, I would prioritize searching Otamas or the 1-cost Gordon themselves. If I'm in a defensive state, I will search for my choppers to kind of prevent my opponent from going through for their last hit. So these are the kind of things that you have to think about when you are searching with Curly Dadan. Next up, won't leave home without this waifu right here. It's none other than Nico Robin, and I love her so much that I put in 2 more because I really love the effect. So once again, Beppo and Nico Robin has the same effect, they just have different stats. Nico Robin and Beppo are my tools to deal with early aggression. That's one of the ways that I want to utilize her. And people tend to use their jet pistols and their Vista Otama onto Nico Robin. So this is also another way to say that Nico Robin is the bait, so that they use their removal on Nico Robin, which is why I'm running 6, so that I have more opportunity to use Nico Robin in the future. This is a kind of a choice because you can change it up, because I'm dedicating 4 slots or essentially 6 slots to this one effect, which, you know, may not be the best thing in the world, but because I love Nico Robin and I love the effect, I really want to put it in. And I realized that if Nico Robin sticks, and along with the power reducing cards in the deck itself, it may have more targets than just the small 3000 powered characters. I do run another card which I'll talk about, which can get rid of some of the bigger threats out there. So that's why I was prioritizing Nico Robin. But also the new, another staple for Red, and if you're playing OP-02 in the future, this is a card that you definitely need a play set of. It's none other than a Vista, 3 cost, 3000 power, and on play, you KO something that's 3000 power or less. This is your staple for Red. Let me reiterate that. This is your staple for Red because it hits so many things, and you can pair it with Otama, you can pair it with the Gordon, reduce something, pop that character with just an on-play ability. And the reason why I'm running a full play set is because I want to see Vista in my hand. That's why I say it's a staple for OP-02. And not only that, it's the same reason why I'm running Uta, the 4-cost Uta that gets the 3-cost character, red character or below back to your hand. And I have many games where I played Vista, attacked with it, opponent killed it off, played Uta, got Vista back, use a power reduction cards for red, and then played Vista to kind of KO it. And it got me a lot of you know, great tempo swings with these cards alone. So Uta is just a flex slot. You can use it to get back your blockers, you can use it to get back your searchers. Curly Dadan and Nami are the great targets for Uta as well, but most of the time I just use it to get back Vistas. Then this is where I would kind of change it a little bit. I was running 4 copies of the 5-cost Rush Luffy, and the reason why I was running this is specifically for the Whitebeard matchup. Whitebeard usually gets down to that 0 life because of his own ability, but they have a wall of blockers, especially Marco the Phoenix, which is very difficult to get rid of and also very annoying to deal with. So instead of dealing with the blocker, you just make your stuff can't be blocked and then I go in for the kill. And I would have cut this by 1 so that I don't see it in my hand. This gets clogged up in the hand and it doesn't have any counter power, so you have to kind of pay attention to how many you include in the deck. But I really like running full playset, so you know, Luffy's my guy. I gotta play Luffy, which is why I ran a full playset of the 5-cost Rush Luffy. And I would say the next important staple of OP-02 is none other than my big Oyaji himself, Whitebeard. Whitebeard takes over the place of Shanks, Rush Shanks in this deck, because it's just a great card to plop down and then be a threat right there. Also, his Dawn 2 ability to destroy something that's 3000 power or less is also very, synergistic with the other power reducing cards in my deck, such as the 1-cost Gordon and the 1-cost Otama. And if you can put one Whitebeard down and while your opponent is kind of still setting up, or you still have like 3 life, it's very difficult for your opponent to get rid of him, for one thing. And also it's very difficult for your opponent to deal with 2 Whitebeards on the field. If you have 2 Whitebeards on the field, you're kind of guaranteed the game if you play it really well. But Whitebeards, definitely also another super rare staple for OP-02. So if you're planning to play red, pick up your playset of Whitebeard. This is very, very important. Next up, we do have our main removal source in the form of 4 jet pistols. I just love jet pistols. If it triggers for my life, great. It also works with all the power reduction cards such as Otama and 1-cost Gordon, and then you can pop off something. Just cleanly answer maybe even an opposing Whitebeard, even the opposing 10-cost secret rare Kuzan, and also opposing cards such as the Queen blocker, cleanly remove like an Okiku or other Nico Robins that you don't want to deal with as well. Never leave home without 4 to me. Just really love Jet Pistol. And also my kind of flex card of choice is none other than Round Table. I really love using Round Table because people don't expect it, and I successfully use a Round Table to reduce my opponent's Whitebeard power from 10,000 to 0, and using my Whitebeard's ability to put 2 down on him and destroying the opposing Whitebeard while attacking to my opponent's leader. So this is sort of like a flex slot. I brought this specifically to deal with opposing Whitebeards and also opposing 10-cost secret rare Kuzans, but it worked really well for just reducing things. And the great thing is you don't even need to use like an attacking destroy ability. You can use Round Table to reduce a power from like 10k to 0, and then you use Vista, which is just cost 3, so it's a total of 7 Dawn to just destroy something else. So that's really quite good. And I this was my flex choice of the tournament, and it came in handy a lot of the matches. And my last 2 cards, which I would have bumped up to 3, was none other than Diable Jambe. Diable Jambe is just, this is specifically for the Whitebeard matchup when Whitebeard is down to 0 life. And what I found was, okay, if Whitebeard is down to 0 life and you have your leader on the field, you would use Diable Jambe. And this is the reason why I use Luffy as my leader, by the way, because you use Diable Jambe, you use that 1 Dawn, use Luffy's ability to put the Dawn, rested Dawn onto Luffy, and then they put 9 Dawn onto Luffy, making a 15,000 power unblockable attack. Your opponent needs to throw 5 cards with plus 2000 counter to defend against the attack. So if they have 5 cards in their hand, most likely they don't have like all 2000 counters, but it's a play that you can go for. If they have a Dawn up, meaning that they might have Frankie's Radical Beam, which gives 1 cost plus 4k counter, then they would need 4 cards in your hand, 1 Frankie, and then 3 other plus 2000 counters for that 10k. So as long as they have less than 4 or 3 cards in your hand and you have Diable Jambe and they have 0 life, you are guaranteed the game. That's what I found in my testing against Whitebeard. For other decks, this is not a really important card because it's really hard to get through. You have to get them to 0 life for that kind of strategy to work. But against Whitebeard, it worked brilliantly. So there you go, that's the deck that I wanted to share with you guys. It may not be the best deck. I only went 4 wins, 3 losses during the tournament, but it was a deck that I truly enjoyed, and I love Luffy as a leader, and it was geared specifically to beat 1 or 2 matchups in particular. And I didn't manage to meet a lot of them, but against the deck that I did meet, which was Whitebeard, it worked perfectly and according to plan. So this is what I say by like having a game plan of your own for a specific type of matchup, and that was it. And there you go, a little bit of breakdown about my updated OP-02 Luffy starter deck list. I really love the Luffy leader. I have been playing all the other leaders out there. I have tried like Red Queen Law, I have tried Ivankov, but I always end up going back to Luffy because he's one of my favorites. And you know why I say it in the previous video, play the deck and the character that you love and you will do fine with it. I didn't like go like 8-0 or anything, but it was perfectly fine. I got to play the deck that I love and I enjoyed myself. So that's something that I really want to kind of stress with you guys who are new and wanted to play this tournament. Play what you love and you'll do fine. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want me to talk about all the other decks that were present in the tournament, do let me know in the comment section below. I will try my best to talk about every single OP-02 deck before OP-02 comes out for English. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great week ahead and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.